What book should you be reading based on your zodiac sign? Hi, my name's Kate and welcome to my bookish corner of the internet. Today I'm going to be talking about what books you should be reading based on your zodiac sign. I actually researched a lot about zodiac signs during lockdown. I just found it really interesting. I wasn't sure whether I believed in it or anything. I just thought it was a cool thing to read about, and just it's kind of like taking a personality test, and I always love those. For those who are familiar with astrology, I am a Libra, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and a Scorpio rising. So that might tell you a bit about me. Let's get into all the other signs. So starting with Aries, if you're an Aries, you're going to want a fast-paced book. You're not going to want to waste time with the scenery and the side plots. You're going to want the book to be going, like straight to the point, fast-paced, maybe about a quest or a adventure of some sort. So I'm going to recommend to you The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, just because I feel the main character probably is an Aries. That's what I think, at least. It's a historical fiction novel about World War II and kind of when the Nazis invade Poland, I think. And it's a really sad story, like most of those novels are, but I do think that the plot just kept going, and I like I said, I think that the main character might be an Aries, so I think you'd enjoy it if you're an Aries. Next, for Tauruses, if you're a Taurus, you're going to want a cozy book, your homebody, so anything that's kind of reminds you of home. Yeah, you're just going to want those good feelings. So I'm actually going to recommend Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult, and it's kind of going to take you out of your comfort zone a bit. It's a book about, actually it's about lockdown, when COVID first hits New York City, and this girl has a trip planned with her fiance, and I don't know, she just learned some things about herself, and it was kind of cool reading about that time in our lives, because I think it was the first book I read about that time, and I just found it really interesting. The twist is crazy, and I don't know, I just thought it was a good one for a Taurus. Next is Gemini, and if you're a Gemini, I think you would like books with multiple storylines and maybe multiple perspectives. So that's why I'm going to recommend The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. It's about one of them, it's two girls. One's a reporter who's trying to get the story on this one other girl who's a con artist, and she cons all these men into, basically steals their money, but they kind of deserve it. And then the reporter girl's trying to catch her in it. And I just think the multiple storylines would be really interesting for a Gemini. And so for some signs, I'm going to have more than one. Other ones, I just have one. It just depends, because some signs I relate to more than others. So the second one for Gemini is The Quiet Tenant. And I think it's just, again, the multiple perspectives of something that I think you'll enjoy. It's a thriller book. It's pretty dark, so check your trigger warnings, but it's about a girl who's being held captive, and you kind of hear from some of his other victims, and that, I just think a Gemini would like that book. Next is Cancer, and now if you're a Cancer, I know that you're being known for being sensitive and home, again, like a Taurus, but also like nostalgia, those type of books, something that gives you a good feeling from your childhood. I think you'll like those type of books. But the ones I'm going to recommend for you are The Woman by Kristen Hanna. And again, that one's kind of one to get out of your comfort zone. But Cancers are feisty sometimes, and they can be brave. They're supposed to be kind of known like the mother bear or mama bear type people. So I just think the Women is another World War II, or no, it's Vietnam War historical fiction novel. And the main character just kind of gets out of her comfort zone and enlists in the Vietnam War, and just how women made a difference in that war. I don't know why I thought of Cancer about that book, but I just think you should read it. Another one is totally different. This is a romance novel. It's The 7-Year Slip. It's about this girl who inherits an apartment from her aunt, and it kind of has different, like, she goes back in time. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I can't even explain it that much, but it's like the apartment will bring her to different time periods. And I don't know, I just thought, because it's like home, I thought of Cancer, so maybe check that out. Next we have Leo, and now Leos are known for their ego and being bold and extra. So I'm going to recommend actually The Great Gatsby. I know that's a classic, but I don't know, just the lavishness of The Great Gatsby made me think Leos for sure. I'm also going to recommend The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. It's kind of about this girl who invites 5 of her childhood friends. Well, it's like friends of different eras of her life. And she's like a well-known blogger, so she's kind of the center of attention, which reminded me of Leo, of course. So if you're Leo, maybe check that one out. Next, we got Virgo. Now, Virgos are known for being very detail-oriented, and they just kind of have that perfectionist in them. So the book I'm going to recommend for you is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. If you've read Gone Girl, I can't even tell you why, because that'll be a major spoiler. That was probably one of the biggest books that I was shocked by the twist. But if you've read it, you'll know why I'm recommending Virgos to read it. I think they would appreciate the calculated moves of the characters, and that's why I'm recommending Virgos. The other book I'll recommend for Virgos is The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. Now, I love Kate Morton. This is probably one of my favorite books by her. It had a pretty big twist. It's a historical fiction novel. It kind of has some thriller-ish twist to it. I think a Virgo would appreciate the weaving of the multiple storylines and the multiple timelines, and that's why I'm recommending it for Virgos. Next, we got Libra, which is my own sign, and it's funny because these aren't my favorite books, but I don't know why I think Libra when I read them. Libras are all about beauty and fairness. So if you're a Libra, you're not going to want to read a book that kind of leaves it on a cliffhanger. That's more for like Aries and other signs. Like, you're going to want a satisfying ending. I know I hate books that don't end satisfyingly. So the books I'm going to recommend are Pride and Prejudice. I know that's a classic, but it's just being immersed in that time was just such a good feeling for me as a Libra. And the second book I didn't like as much, but I think Libra was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because if you're a Libra, you're known to always need to be in a relationship, and you're just kind of like, they say romance is your life. Next, we have Scorpio, and for Scorpios, they're known for getting revenge and, you know, being that kind of dark sign. I'm going to recommend The Change by Kristen Miller. I think Scorpios will really like kind of the supernatural element of it, but also the revenge and just the anger. This is the book I voted the best that I read last year, and I just think Scorpio. I'm Scorpio rising, and they thrive on mystery and deep emotional expression, or deep emotional exploration. Any revenge or personal transformation, I think Scorpio would really like. So I recommend Scorpios reading The Change. Also, Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is kind of a book about, it's kind of like a play on Alice in Wonderland, but it's about the just that type of time frame, but it's a different story. I don't know why I think Scorpio with this book. I rated this book 5 stars. I read it a couple years ago, but I loved it, and I just think other Scorpios would like it as well, but let me know what you think. Next, we have Sagittarius. Now, I actually have 3 recommendations for them, even though I don't really understand them that well. Sagittarius are fire signs. They're like really emotional too, but I'm going to recommend Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. The Silent Patient. I know that one's controversial. I just think that Sagittarius might like those ones. And also The Bright Side by Kim Holden. This one's not as well known, but I think the Sagittarius would appreciate the optimism of the main character. It's a really sad book though. It had me bawling. Let me know what you think. Next we have Capricorn. So Capricorns are ambitious, and they really put a lot of stock in their image, and I kind of think that they would like to read Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. Just because the book's about a girl, like they put out a perfect facade, but behind closed doors, it's not what they seem. And I think that would really intrigue a Capricorn. Just kind of that storyline might be interesting for them. Basically, they put a lot of importance on maintaining an image, and that's kind of what this book is about. Now, Aquarius, they're very unconventional and boundary pushing, which is why I picked The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I read that book a long time ago, but I really enjoyed it. But the main character is definitely boundary pushing, and I feel like she might be an Aquarius, so that's why I picked it for that. But there could be a lot of opinions on that. And finally is Pisces, who are known for being sensitive, imaginative, and empathetic. And the book I picked for you guys is Remarkably Bright Creatures. I just think that they really appreciate the blend of humor and emotion, like the depth of emotion in that book. And also it was about an octopus, which made me think water, which makes me think Pisces. So I had to pick that for them. And that's it. That's a book for every sign. Do you think your recommendation matched what you think? I'd love to hear. Let me know if you've read the book I've recommended in the comments, or if you disagree with any of my opinions. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit like so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching and happy reading.